So good evening, everybody. Good, whatever it is for you, if you are watching on the replay or if you are listening on the Act on This TV audio experience on iTunes, on Spotify, on Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever it is you listen to your podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you are listening to this on the audio experience as well, please tweet me at Act on This TV, at Ross A. Grant on Twitter. Let me know where you are listening. A couple of thousand people a week download the podcast. And I don't know where you are. I don't know who you are. I don't know if you're members of actonthis.tv. I don't know if you watch the Facebook Live and you want to listen to it again, or if you're completely random and you've never reached out to me ever before. Please do, just so I can say thanks for listening. Basically, really appreciate your time. So we've got loads to talk about tonight, folks. It's the 23rd of November as I am live right now. How many weeks is that then till the end of the year? So sort of like 5 weeks, something like that. We started talking last week about sort of getting clear on, this year. Ultimately, it's been just the craziest year ever, hasn't it? This is the most mental year I can ever remember in or out of my acting career. Like, just full stop. It's been an interesting one, but we went over that fable, didn't we? That story about going, might be good, might be bad, who knows? And ultimately, I started saying, look, it's horrific for the people who've really, really been hit this year in terms of they have lost people or they themselves have lost their life. That is without a doubt horrific. And I'm not you can't make light of anything to do with that at all. However, for the lucky majority of us that hasn't happened to, I don't know about you, but I think sometimes there's been parts of 2020 that we might not have wanted, but we've absolutely needed, in terms of there have been lessons that have been learnt, there are things that we have been made aware of that maybe we weren't aware of before or we were taking for granted. Lots of things, even literally down to taking for granted the fact that you can just go downstairs near where I live here, walk into Costa Coffee and have a brew with your mates. Obviously not been able to do that since March, really. So lots of lessons in this year. We're going to start recapping on those to get clear on what it is we want out of the rest of this year, and then what we're gonna get out of 2021. I'm so optimistic about 2021. I think it'll be like such a game changer when hopefully we can look back and COVID is a thing of the past, no longer exists. But I'm excited about it, yeah. And I still think there's time this year to squeeze some extra stuff out of this year as well. There's 5 weeks left. So to start with, I just want to recap on last week's Act on This.tv member-only mastermind that we held with Emmerdale's Danny Miller and Dan Jillings. Actor Dan Jillings, he's in Netflix's Enemy Lines at the moment. We premiered their first short film that they'd collaborated on together. It was Danny's directorial debut. It was Dan Jillings' his first thing that he'd ever written. It was based on a true experience of his when he was in the police before he became an actor. And I just thought it was super inspirational. I'm going to play just a couple of little clips out of the conversation that we had, because we premiered their actual short film as well. I'm not going to play that tonight, because that is, if you check out Danny Miller's social media or Dan Jillings' social media, you'll see they put that up on Vimeo today, so you can go and check that out. But if you do watch the full replay, I'll just show you where it is. If you're a member of actonthis.tv, you'll be able to catch up on the actual film. It's included in the replay. But if you go to actonthis.tv, it's the first feature. If you're not a member, you can check out a little preview of it at the top of the screen here. It's called Pace. It's a film based on a real-life event, like I say, when Dan was in the police. Super hard-hitting, just like real hard-hitting kind of film. It just shows you how one seemingly insignificant decision in your life can impact it forever. And not just yours, but, many, many people as well. Members, you'll find in the members area, you'll find the full version of this. It's about 2 hours long. If you click into your premium membership, I am sharing my screen. I always have that thing where I'm like, am I sharing my screen? And yes, I am. I am sharing it. I've done that before where I've been talking you through something that I'm seeing on the screen and no one else is seeing it. You will find it in the members area here. Our latest 5 features, you'll find it just above Mandip Gill, actress from Doctor Who. That was another awesome mastermind session we held a couple of weeks ago. You'll find it right at the top there. Click into it and you can watch the video version of it. You're going to want to watch this because there's a film involved. Normally, if you don't want to watch, you can just listen to the audio-only version. You can still listen if you want, listen to the audio-only version, but that's there for you members. And if you're not a member of actonthis.tv, do come and get involved, because it'll change your life. No, it's a bold statement, but it definitely will. So yeah, I'm going to play a couple of clips out of that conversation now, but I just want to know in the comments, in the chat here, who was inspired, because I've been writing something myself, and I know, you know what, I've been talking about writing for years, and like I keep going, yeah, I'm going to do this, and you talk the talk, don't you? And then it's actually getting that discipline to sit down and start writing something. Now I have started doing that over the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks, and watching this premiere as well, just gone, really kind of like inspired me even more to go even harder at it. Because Dan said, when he sat down to write this short film, he said, listen, I had no idea what I was doing. I just wrote, because he was in the police, he said, I just wrote the police caution down. I was arresting someone on suspicion of something. And he didn't even know what it was. And then the story develops out of that. And then obviously, it turned into an awesome film. So I just want to know who else on here is either writing something right now, has thought of writing something right now, but hasn't had the discipline. And I find myself guilty of this as well, like I said, of actually sitting down and just fucking doing it. And if you have written something, whether you're sat on it or if you are putting it into production. So basically, if you've if you've got something right now as an idea, if you've if you've started writing it, fantastic. Are you putting it into production? And if you've not, what's been kind of like, what's the reason for it? You think? Are you making excuses like I am sometimes about being too busy? And I am ridiculously busy, but I know that I just need to prioritize this because it's the thing that makes everything else easier or unnecessary in my acting career once it's done. Friends of mine have made short films and won Academy Awards, Oscars. They've won Oscars for it. It's changed their life. And yeah, it was a shit ton of work. But it's the thing that then makes everything else easier from when you've done that. So I don't know if you're like me and you need to make time to just do it. And, and we can use all of the excuses in the world to say, well, we haven't got time. But we have actually. We're just, you'd have to sacrifice something. You might have something actually that's almost equally as important. This community is so incredibly important for me. This business is so incredibly important for me. It's been something that I've put my heart and soul into this year. Like, God, like 10x the amount of work that I put into this community this year because I thought we were going to lose it all at the start of lockdown. Like, it looked like that was going to happen. So this is incredibly important. All of my energy right now goes into this, but I know that actually for me to, further this down the line, I need to get this writing done. Ultimately that could be the thing that springboards me, my career, the opportunities that I get that I then feed back into this community that you will get as well. So it's something that I have to make time for. So let us know if you're in that boat as well. I write so much that, yeah, Sandra, you're good. You write and then you just shoot shit like straight away. Sandra writes her stuff and just shoots it the same day. Says, but I write so much, but then I don't know what to do. I think you know more than most of us, to be honest, Sandra. You're always putting stuff out there. Caroline says she's thought about it, hasn't known where to start, but inspired to now. Eleanor's producing her first series of short films. Didn't write any of them, but really enjoying bringing. Yeah, I mean, that's cool. So yeah, you haven't written them, but you're producing them, so you're bringing them to life. I mean, that's amazing. That's just as creative. Nicola says she was so freaking inspired and very, very grateful for their advice. Yeah, Nicola, you got to talk to Dan and Daniel. Yeah, for those who don't know, when we do these mastermind sessions, by the way, if you're not a member of Acts on This, we host them weekly. You get to join a mastermind session with a top actor, agent, casting director, writer, producer, like real big names. And you get to, not everybody, because I can't get through everybody on every call, but members of the community get picked out. A lot of the time kind of at random, depending on what questions they've asked, to come on and ask, actually ask the guest a question. Nicola, you were talking to the lads about the stuff that you're writing. But they're really cool because it means you get advice from people that you wouldn't necessarily be able to just sit and have a conversation with on your own. So it's cool. So yeah, Nick, I know you were talking to the lads about what you're doing, putting plans together for filming in early 2021, she says. Sam says, sat on it, it's written, just trying to be brave enough to actually start putting it together and getting other people involved. Well, yeah, Sam, I passed you emailed me your script, didn't you? I passed it on to the lads. So yeah, it is. I think that's the thing. Sometimes it's like hard to people think it's hard to write something, and then they think that when they've written it, the work's done, and actually the work's only just beginning at that point. So then it almost feels like you're starting all over again. It's like such a long process, but so ridiculously rewarding when it's done. Rich has developed a TV series spec script and a pitch deck and a second episode outline, has begun pitching it. Just got my first rejection. Yes, Rich. One step closer to a yes. I love it. Every no, You know what, Rich? Like that no is more than I've had, mate. And that's you in a better position. You've had a no. I've not even got something right now to get a no on. So you celebrate the no's as well, everybody. Like seriously, if you're getting no's, it means you're actually putting yourself out there. So and you've completed a project. So that's cool, man. Good luck with that. Chris is writing a film. So many people are writing stuff. Gary's writing. It's wicked, but yeah, it just really, really inspired me. And off the strength of the writing as well. This is the thing that sometimes a lot of people. This ties in with a clip I'm going to play you now. A lot of people are like, oh, is there any point in writing something myself? How would I ever get anybody involved with it? No one's going to want to be involved with it. I need a famous person to get involved with it. I have no idea how to do that, etc. Dan and Danny, yes, Danny Miller, because he plays Aaron in Emmerdale, is known a bit in the industry, but it still doesn't mean that if you have put a bad project together, all of the people are going to come and get involved with it. The projects have still got to be shit hot for anybody with any profile to want to be involved with it. And Danny Miller didn't write this. Dan Jillings wrote this. It's the first thing he ever wrote. But because he wrote about what he knew, he was in the police for many, many years. He was the youngest policeman in the Greater Manchester Force when he signed up at 18. Before he decided he was going to be an actor for whatever reason. He wrote what he knew. He had like a real. This is based on a real case. Not one that he worked on, but one that he knew a lot about because he was around the police at that time. And he just knew it, knew it inside out, wrote about what he knew as his first thing. And I think that's a great thing to start with for a lot of new writers is like, right, okay, if you're going to write something, write about a world you know about, you're going to be passionate about it, you're going to be able to explain it better. But off the back of the writing, and it was the strength of the writing, nothing else, because it was a completely legit deal, they managed to get Siobhan Finneran, like one of the greatest female actresses we've got in the country, to be in this film. And it was it wasn't a favour. It was done through her agent. It was a proper gig. But it was only, Siobhan read the scripts and wanted to be involved with it. Someone of her level, earning God knows what in, massive TV drama. She was just in The Stranger for Netflix. Obviously, she's been in Downton Abbey forever. A huge actress still getting involved with short films for, I'm guessing, not loads of money because the budget wasn't very big on this film. The budget, the lads said on the night when we did the mastermind, was $5,000. Now, you can't shoot, edit, and have all that kit and everything and all those people and Siobhan Finneran. You can't even getting paid a lot of money to be there, but she wanted to be there off the strength of the script. So ultimately, believe in yourself. If your stuff is good enough and you put it in front of the right people, you do not need £1 million to get an A-lister in your script. As you will see, here is a little excerpt for you.
How on earth did you get such, amazing people on board?
It was on the strength of the script, to be honest. We know a lot of people that are actors, and we sort of, obviously, the casting process is massive because you just I wanted to cast everyone that I knew, and you realise you've got to serve the story. You can't do that. And the strength of the script, we got Faye McKeever, who was working with Siobhan, and then they were on a night shoot and they had some time out, and Faye was reading the script, and Siobhan read the script and she was like, I love it, I think it's brilliant. And she fed it back to me and Dan saying she loves it, and she also loves the fact that Danny's directing it.
Fantastic.
It's great. And we were like, could we maybe ask her if she'd do it?
Well, to be fair, at that point though, we'd originally written it for a male, hadn't we? Because it was going to be Cy Lennon's part would have been a female, because we definitely like the idea of a male and female copper. But then when Siobhan said we love it, we just said, oh well, I mean, we'll just change it then, won't we? We'll just change it to whatever she wants.
No, I was going to say, we had to go through her agent and what have you, and they read the script and they were happy for her to do it. And what we were saying earlier about moving away from the pressure of the script, when you're thinking, hang on a minute, she wants to do it, she loves it, her agent has given the go-ahead to do it, we might be onto something here.
Definitely.
And I think it's the biggest pat on the back. And then from that, as soon as you've got Faye that's doing it, you've got Shiv that's doing it, you can then start going out to people saying, listen, we're doing a short film and Siobhan Finneran's doing it, Faye McKeever's doing it, would you be up for reading it? And then that person then will come back saying, "Oh, I love it, I'll do it."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, brilliant.
It just sort of went from there, really.
Boom, actonthis.tv if you want to watch the full replay, 2 hours long. But yeah, just a little excerpt there talking about how they got Siobhan involved with it. But yeah, it was off the back of the strength of the script. Actress Faye McKeever said, right, I'll be involved in it. She was working on a show with Siobhan, happened to be reading it, on a night shoot or whatever. And then Siobhan went, oh, I'll have a little look at that. And then read it, thought it was great. And then Faye fed that back to the lads. Siobhan thinks it's really good, and they were like, "Right, any chance she wants to be in it?" She's like, "Yeah." So it just shows you, like, as I say, you don't need huge, massive budgets. If your script is good, your story is good, it's authentic, which I think comes from you knowing the world you're writing about. Particularly, that's how I feel right now when I'm starting off writing things for the first time. I'm just very much writing about my own world, writing about what I know. Then that comes through in the script. And if people are like, yeah, you know what, this is a great story, this is legit, it feels good, then you never know who's going to say yes. You just literally never know. So yeah, put it out there, guys, and I do hope that kind of inspired you a little bit. I'm going to play one more clip from. What have I got from that broadcast? I've got a clip about. Oh no, I haven't. I've got the mashup. Yeah, that was it. So I was going to show. Yeah, here you go. Here's a little mashup. Actually, I'll play of the full thing. So if you weren't there, here's a little bit of what you missed. And if you do want to get access to the full 2-hour replay, grab a membership at actonthis.tv and you'll get access to that instantly. But it's just a little bit more of Pace, the film. That's what it's called, Pace. And the Q&A, everything, the premiere that we held around it. And then we're going to dive into 5 questions that I'm going to ask you tonight that if you answer are going to guarantee that you finish 2020 strong, all right? So don't go anywhere, but it's a little bit more. Tonight we are going to be playing out the UK premiere of short film Pace, written by Mr. Daniel Jillings, directed by Mr. Danny Miller. These boys need no introduction. They've been on Acts on This many times before. Fellas, good evening. Are you ready for this? Did you both decide you were going to be actors at the same time? Did one get the other one into it? Like, how did it all begin?
And we just got chatting basically and kind of hit it off from there. And I think sometimes in life you meet people and you just there's just a connection. And from that moment, really, I just couldn't get rid of him.
What was it for you that went, fuck it, we're going to do it. Now is the time. Like, we're not going to talk about it anymore. We're actually going to make it. And how did you get the courage to take that first step?
We both sat down, I think, a few times and said, we need to, I want to direct. That's where my passion lies really now. And Dan, was saying, let's do what everyone says and, let's make our own work. And we sat down and kind of worked on it.
What do you think your biggest lesson from the entire shoot was?
Time is money. That is such a true saying. Time is money.
How on earth did you get such, amazing people on board?
You can then start going out to people saying, listen, we're doing a short film and Siobhan Finneran's doing it, Faye McKeever's doing it, would you be up for reading it? And then that person then will come back saying, oh, I love it, I'll do it. So I'm just tossing about on the set and he's like, right. And he made me, God's honest truth, go and he put me in a cell. And we're talking a police station that's shut down. It's not been used for the last 4 years. So it's like old school police cell.
Yeah.
And then locked me in there for an hour.
Just to jump in there, he's right. What it was it was an exciting day because it was the first day of shooting. It was the only day of shooting we had with Siobhan.
Just do it. I know it's not as easy as that, but at least start the process and don't stop learning.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, put pen to paper and see what you come up with.
And you can find out the full story of why Miller locked Jillings in the cell in the full version of that chat. Like I say, actonthis.tv if you want to get access to the full replay along with like 400 hours worth of the best acting career advice from the biggest casting directors, agents and actors, directors, producers in this business. go get involved like all these people here have. Michelle, I can see you here. Thanks for being here tonight. Darren, how you doing, mate? Just noticed you joined. Natalie, noticed you just joined as well. How are you doing? You joined just in time, guys. Going to be looking now at a bit of a prep actually for next week. So those who've been around Acts on this a while, like literally the last 11 years, what I like to do at the start of every end to the year, basically around the end of November, early December, I like to start prepping the community on reviewing the year they've just had, which has been such an interesting year. We're going to do a little bit of that now. Such an interesting year, obviously for many, many reasons. And then I get people to start actually setting specific goals that are SMART goals, ultimately specific, measurable, actionable, relevant and time-bound goals in your life for 2021 or for the following year. I've got a guide actually on goal setting that I will give you guys in a couple of weeks. You'll be able to download it completely free of charge. You'll be able to go through a workbook and fill out all your goals and stuff on it. But I just want to kind of prep you guys for it tonight by asking 5 questions that I'm going to ask myself as well. I'm going to play along with you. What might be pretty cool, actually, is if you do write the answers down to these tonight, and maybe you can even post them in the Acts on this Facebook group. That'd be pretty cool. Share them with other people. But I just think if you go through these are questions I start to ask myself towards the end of each year, just to kind of get clear on what the year's been like, basically, and then what I might have neglected, what's gone well, what hasn't, and then what I want to get out of the following year as well. And that's when we start getting specific. These are more generalized themes tonight. As a precursor to getting really laser focused next week and the week after. So, I mean, there's no point in ever setting goals that are general bullshit New Year's resolutions that are like, oh yeah, people write down every year, goal 1, earn more money. It's so pointless writing a goal like that. How? What do you want? I just give you a £5 note and go, there you go, right, you've done your goal then. It's pointless. You've got to get really specific. How much money do you want? By when? Break it down, not just like, I want to earn £10,000 more this year or whatever it would be. Break that down then into going, right, how much is that a month? How much is that a week? And then how much is that a day? How much extra each day do I need to earn to hit that goal? You've got to get really specific when it's about, I want to act more, I want more roles in my career. Well, what do you want? Exactly what role do you want on which show, and what size is that role, playing what? Because then you can easily work backwards and break that down and go, okay, what do I need to put in front of that casting director showing me playing what to, convince them to bring me in for an audition for X, whatever it would be. We've got to get really, really specific. But tonight, I'm going to let you off. It can be more general anyway, more general. I'm going to bring up some slides on the screen. If I can find them. Here we go. 5 questions to help you end the year strong. Is anybody who's with me, you're going to write these down or what? Let me know if you've got your pen and paper ready. If you're on the audio experience, just pause it for a second and go and get a pen and paper. Or I just want you to write down your answers in the chat. And no, Joe, I am not giving out £5 notes. Alicia, good evening. I forgot to email you back, Alicia. I went AWOL myself. Don't apologise for going AWOL. I did as well. I'm doing, by the way, Act on This member spotlight. Nothing to do with spotlight. Like spotlights on Act on This members. So basically, if you're an Act on This member and you've used the community this year and you've crushed it, you've signed with a new agent, you've got a TV job, whatever it is, you've written your own thing and you've made a short film and it's entered into a festival and you've won, whatever. If you've had a massive win and Act on This has helped you achieve that win, I want to hear from you because I want to start doing some mini interviews with members, really to help other members see how you have used the resources on actsonthis.tv, or maybe you've attended all of the masterminds every week and you've used all of the information on those and you've acted on it. That's why it's called Act on This. I want to hear from you and start doing these interviews with people, just to sort of inspire others within the community to do the same. It's all well and good hearing from super successful people week in, week out, but sometimes I know in my own life I like to hear from people on my own level who are using the resources I have access to and what they're doing with them. So Alicia, I know you emailed me and you had a long list of things that you've smashed out the park this year because of Acts on This. So, and obviously yourself and the hustle that you've had. But yeah, I will definitely email you back and we'll sort that out. A few people have actually. So if you're waiting for a reply, I will get back to you. And if you've not emailed me and you've crushed it this year, bloody email me because what I'll hear from you. Right, okay, question number 1. Are you ready? Right, here we go. And this is the question that normally is quite easy to answer because normally we're in a normal year. What has gone right for you this year? Now, it's very, very, very easy to focus in 2020 on what has gone wrong because let's be honest, a shit ton has gone wrong. However, I don't just believe, actually, I know both in my own life and from what I'm seeing in the community and the emails and the messages I get from you guys on a daily basis, so much has still gone right this year. And we have to fight for making the stuff that have gone right. We have to fight for that and make that louder because, like I say, the news, the media, the general consensus of the public right now will drown out anything that's positive in the world because they love hanging on to the struggle and what's wrong in the world. And we know there's been a shit ton of stuff that's obviously gone wrong this year, and there's been a lot of like pent up anger that's spilt over this year, and aggression and fighting and injustice and fighting for justice and all kinds of stuff. But let's look at what has gone right. Let's forget about the bad stuff for now. What has gone right for you this year? And let me know. I want you to answer this in real time. Let me know in the chat. So for me, if I was going, right, okay, well, what's gone right for me this year? What has gone right? You know what? I had I had my teeth sorted out today. Had my crowns fixed today. That was the first time I've had real teeth the last 5.5 weeks on the bottom there. That's gone right. But no, for me, you know what? A shit ton has gone right in terms of Acts on This as a community has grown bigger than it's ever grown before. I was forced to set up a home studio for the first time ever for voiceover. For the last 15 years, I've worked, pretty successfully as a voiceover artist, working multiple times a week, recording big jobs. And I had always relied on studios in central Manchester. I'm only 10 minutes out of central Manchester on the train. I would always just, go into a studio in town. And voiceover really was my lifeblood for many, many years before I started getting more regular acting work. It was the thing that got me out of my day job, and it was the thing that helped me set up Acts on This. Acts on This owed me over £50,000 until 2 years ago that I'd funded via voiceover. I wouldn't have been able to create this community if that wasn't the case. So when voiceover instantly shut down on the 23rd of March, I went, holy shit. This is probably the most vital thing I need for my own personal income because I knew acting wasn't going to happen really this year. But I thought, right, there's got to be a way to do voiceover remotely. And it forced me to create the most ghetto basic studio you have ever seen in your life. And I showed you when we had Peter Dixon, the voice of the X Factor, Alexandra Burke, when we had him doing a mastermind session for us. Again, members, you'll find that in your members area. If you've not seen it, go and watch the replay. I showed the setup that I'd created in my wardrobe, just in my bedroom through here. And it's the most simple setup. However, it still enabled me to work. I don't think there's a week has gone by since lockdown. Maybe a week or two weeks might have gone by where I haven't worked as a voiceover artist. But generally speaking, every single week, got a job booked in for this week already. I'm working as a VO from my bedroom. That's a massive thing that has gone right for me this year that has really kept me out of the shit personally. Money in the business for Acts on This is completely separate to my own personal accounts and like livelihood and mortgage and stuff. So that's the thing that's really kept me afloat. So that's gone right. What has gone right for you? Poppy said, got my first professional job in a web series. Nice one, Poppy. Getting on Spotlight. That's a massive one, Sam. Let's have a look. So much this year, says Sandra. Passing auditions. Says Matt, Tom, you got an agent, got promoted to actor from a supporting artist on a student film. Awesome. Chris has new agent, more auditions, bloody hell, Chris, moved to Manchester, worked my ass off and met loads of new people, moved in with Connor, joined Acts on This, Vince, mate, that's the win. That's the best. That's the best thing. Vince, you won the year, mate. Vince has won the year because he joined Acts on This. Met lots of crazy, talented new people, says Sarah. Darren, finding myself and feeling more positive about life. That's a big win, man. That's a big win. Honestly, mindset is everything in my eyes. I'm a huge believer in that. Also got accepted into circus school. Sarah, I've seen videos of you like flying around on ropes and shit on Facebook, spinning around. I would just get pretty dizzy, I'd imagine, and be sick. Got a repeat job for a great casting director, says Alison. Yeah, great show reel footage from a big job last year. Alison, I've seen your stuff. It's awesome. For me, I think getting the right agent for me is what's gone right, says Dougal. Gary's got 2 Arts Council. This is so good to read. This is what I mean when I talk about making positivity louder. Imagine if you scrolled down your Twitter feed and you saw this, as opposed to people moaning about everything being wrong in the world. It would put so many more people in our industry at ease, inspire them. This is one thing that I've really disliked about this year, is how our industry in particular has almost self-combusted. It's almost kind of imploded on itself, because all it's wanted to do is make the lack of opportunity louder, when look at all of this stuff that's happened. This is what people need to be talking about. Got 2 Arts Council grants, wrote 2 scripts during lockdown. Joe says he finished training and just landed a panto role. John's worked over October. I connected with a ton of people I didn't know before this year, learned so much from others. Sandra's got an agent. She's been writing and producing her own stuff. Alicia decided to get back into acting after stopping because of IBD. Boom. Got 3 months paid holiday from work, says Wendy. Yes, Wendy. I managed to get more time to concentrate on my career. The hustle is paying off. I have 2 jobs booked for December, starting a YouTube channel with my sister and having voiceover home studio. You know what I mean? I could just keep reading these and going on and on and on. There's so much good. Dougal's done a lead in a short. Chris has met Alicia. That's the only acceptable answer. Alex has signed with a new agent, emailed and connected with a lot of industry people, got a new showreel scene, signed up to learn voiceover, acting classes, joining acts on this, says Sharon. What has gone right for me so much, says Nicola. Made awesome connections, built more friendships in the acting world, gained a much better and wider perspective on the business of the business, learned how to manage myself as a business, get in contact with other professionals, dug myself out of a hole, and I've been in for a wee while, and I met so many lovely and supportive people through Acts on This. Whoosh. Right, okay, well, this is good. So God, and there's so much. I can't keep up with the comments. There's so many comments coming through. Right, so we start off with a nice positive. Okay. What's gone right? And I mean, and doesn't it feel nice when you write those things down? Imagine if you thought, when you're in bed before you go to sleep, and you're really, I think that moment's interesting in it. When you're about to sleep and you're truly in your own head, unless you're like completely exhausted or drunk, right? But I think my deepest kind of life thinking is often in the minutes before I actually sleep. Imagine if you recapped on all of those great things that you'd achieved this year, or you wrote them down, or you looked at them, as opposed to, and I'm guilty of this as well, worrying about what might happen next week or next year, or if this happens or if that happens, or things that have happened that didn't necessarily go your way or whatever. I think it'd really help everybody, particularly in our industry, just sort of like, mentally, to just go, I'm going to focus on actually what went right. Right, question number 2. What have you learned this year? Now, this can be lessons from both good, and it should be lessons from bad as well, right? It really, really should. I've lost one really close mate this year. One close mate I think was late last year. I don't think it was this year. So one mate this year, Pat Walker, absolute legend. That gave me such COVID gives you a realization of just like mortality and the world and stuff. But actually, seeing my mate, another mate, lowered into the ground, and he's only 55, and then you're going, fuck, I'm 37, my old man, my dad died at 60. Lots of people I've kind of lost quite young. Eric James Dean was a member of our community, dearly loved. Eric James Dean was one of my best mates. I think Eric was about 68. He wasn't super old or anything like that. It's like, it just wakes you up, doesn't it? And it refocuses you on what matters. And sometimes it's not chasing the money, the credits, the success like that. It's actually just going, what I've learned this year is sometimes to stop and just ask myself some more questions like, is what I'm doing right now actually making me happy? Or am I? Because I found myself at times this year with the biggest lesson I think I've learned from this year. One actually is my resilience in terms of going, right, you know what, when the shit really hits the fan and you need to work, you will put in, 16, 17-hour days for 4 months straight. And, you'll barely, spend any time doing anything for yourself. Because I just went crazy on this community when it all went wrong. Because I thought actors are going to be impacted the most. This business I've spent 10 years creating that's only just got popular, what if it all goes under because, our industry just implodes on itself? And that's when I decided to start moving everything online, doing the Zoom calls. Initially, we were doing it twice a week. So I ended up doing over 16 weeks, 32 Zoom calls with the biggest agents and actors and cast directors in the industry. It was the most crazy, crazy, crazy time of my life. But I absolutely hit burnout to the point where I went, I cannot sustain this. This is not healthy for me physically, mentally, just anything. I don't, it just was not good for me. So, what I've learned this year is to step back sometimes and go, right, okay, why are you doing this? What are you chasing? Are you happy doing it? And if not, change something. That was a really big lesson for me. And also that it's great and fine to change stuff. To change your mind is a superpower. It's not a weakness or something like that. And to change your mind completely, so for 1 week go, right, I want to do this, and then the next week to completely pivot and do a 180 and choose something that's completely the opposite is fine. It's all right to do that. That's been a big lesson for me. Say yes to yourself, because if you're not and you're constantly saying yes to everybody else, then you just by default saying no to yourself. And if your well is empty, you have nothing to give anybody else. So let's have a look. What have you learned this year? I'm going to go over some of these comments. Hang on, where are we up to? I can't keep up with all these. I learned that I'm responsible. Yeah, Sandra, you just was the same lesson as me. I learned I'm responsible for my own happiness. I learned how to deal with my grandmother being sick and taking care of her and helping her dealing with her fear of death, and that I'm actually strong enough. And I've learned that many of my friends actually like me more when I was depressive. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? So maybe if your friends take solace in the fact that a lot of misery likes company, doesn't it? In terms of you'll find that a lot of the time. That's why I always say how important it is with the people you're surrounding yourself with. Sometimes when you elevate yourself, two things will happen to your friendship group when you start investing in yourself, when you start having more success or you start becoming happier. You'll either lift those people around you, which is so rare, so very, very rarely happens where they'll follow suit and come with you. What normally happens, unfortunately, is they kind of eject themselves. That's why you never have to cut friends off or acquaintances off. People are right, they're a bad influence on me, I'll just have to cut them off. You don't have to. Just focus on yourself, improve your own life, be happier, have more success. And they'll eject themselves, So that's it's a shame sometimes, but you know what? Maybe they'll see the light at some point, Sandra, and they'll like a more empowered version of you, and they might empower themselves as well. But it's a good lesson to learn. Joanna says I've actually survived from an infection in my brain. Freaking hell, Joanna! March this year. I can choose to do the best for myself and the people I love, being happy, do what I need, want, and I'm responsible for everything in my life. Yeah, honestly, that's really powerful. I always say that, and people are sometimes a bit like, oh, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? But I'm like, I take full responsibility. It's all my fault. I don't mean that in a negative way. It's not having a downer on myself. It's all I'm saying is if something in my life is not how I want it to be, it's my fault. In terms of I can do something about it. If I'm saying it's everybody else's fault, it's the government's fault, it's Boris Johnson's fault, it's my agent's fault, it's my mum's fault, my brother's fault, I'm giving all of my power away to everybody else. When you take full responsibility for your life, knowing you are fully in control of your decisions, you're not fully in control of the situations life can put you in. That's completely random, It's an illusion. It's a total illusion. You are not in control of that. But you are in control to how you respond. Like that fable we read last week. Could be good, could be bad, who knows? The guy who gets thrown off his horse, breaks both of his legs, and then he's like, oh, I've broken both my legs. Oh, could be good, could be bad, who knows? 2 weeks later, conscription kicks in because there's a war. He doesn't get called up, thus breaking his leg saved his life, right? You just don't know whether life is giving you what you need. Sometimes it might not necessarily be what you want, but you do have a choice of how you respond to it, So you've got to kind of roll with the punches, but stay optimistic where you can. Marcelo, how you doing, dude? Hope you're well. I've learned how great Instagram is, says Lee. Yeah, man, Instagram's a great platform, man. I still need to learn TikTok. If someone wants to put some what are they called? Tutorials. I say testimonials. Once I put some tutorials of TikTok up, I need to watch some. I've learned that I can do anything I really put my mind to, says Wendy, and friends are essential. Even friends you've never actually met in person. Absolutely. I feel that about so many people in this community, and I see it. I see friendship groups in this community that are so strong, and you guys have never met in real life, which is why the internet's so good. Internet gets a lot of shit. Social media gets a lot of shit for go, oh, you know what? Like, bullies can get hold of kids everywhere now. You know, when I was a kid and you got bullied at school, when you weren't home, the bullying stopped. People shit all over social media because of the access it gives people to people, without actually, on the flip side, appreciating the fact that actually, you know what? That kid who went home when he was 12, when I was 12, had no outlet whatsoever. Just didn't have any friends. Whereas now, that kid goes home, gets on his Xbox, and he can have hundreds of friends throughout the globe that, yes, he's never met, but they're the people who actually, you know, stop him taking his own life. Like, the internet is incredible. And whoever said Instagram, I can't remember who it was, is incredible. It is. It's like social media. This is incredible. Look what we're doing now. I'm broadcasting to unlimited amounts of people. People will be able to watch this whenever they want on the replay. And it's not really costing me anything. Facebook allow me to do this completely for free, and I've got to meet all you incredible people, and you've got to meet each other. It's phenomenal. Steve says, I'm stronger than I thought. I'm a brilliant comic actor. I can hustle. I'm in control. It's okay to ask for help. Great lesson. It definitely is. The power of meditation. I'm reliable. I am way too hard on myself. I think we all are, Steve, at times, buddy, but it's a good thing to realise. So lots of great lessons. And Tom says, yeah, health is more important than anything. Mate, I'm totally with you, Tom. Say a fantastic lesson. That's definitely what I learned, you know, when Pat died, without a doubt. I was like, oh my God. Literally just remember standing in my kitchen, just swearing to myself, going, just like, to Pat though, as in like going, what? Like, fucking hell, Pat. Like, I couldn't believe it. I just could not believe it. And it does focus you entirely on your health, and you're just like, God, you know what? Like, this is so, so, so important, as opposed to anything else. So again, it's really nice to acknowledge all those things, what you have learned this year. So what's gone right for you this year, what you have learned this year. Then we go on to this. Where have you grown this year? And again, this can be in your acting career, out your acting career. Could be your physicality. It could literally be physicality. Maybe you've got big muscles because you've been going to the gym when they've been open. Or could be like me, where your belly's grown because you've been eating cake while you've been sat down in front of the computer all day for the last 3 weeks. Or you could have grown in confidence. Maybe you set a business up this year. Your bank account might have grown. If you're one of the lucky ones, you know, and you're in a sector that boomed. Because that's the thing, you know, lots of sectors this year, yes, were hit really hard. But again, we can't just focus on all the negative. There's been an awful lot of sectors within the, you know, society and the economy that have grown this year. You know, so it's swings and roundabouts. If you were quick enough to innovate and take your, I don't know, your food store online or whatever you guys have. I know there's a few entrepreneurs that we've got in the community here. If you pivoted fast enough and got that online, maybe you saw a massive uptake in your product and an uptick in your earnings. But yeah, what have you? Where do you think you've grown? Let us know in the comments. Confidence, says Alicia. Joe says he's Panto script says he's got a TikTok dance. He's no idea what that is. Get on TikTok, Joe. You'll find out exactly what that is, mate. Grown in knowledge, says Sam. So I think where I've kind of grown the most in this year, to be honest, it's a tricky one, really. Where do I think I've grown the most? I think in awareness, to a certain extent, of actually what I want moving forward in my life. And I'm kind of like, I go so, I don't know, is anyone else like me, Ari? Just like when you start something or you go in for something, like you don't just like have a go, you go all in and you get really intense on something. I've got like this community this year has been like literally my life, 16 hours a day. I really mean it, like in terms of I've done basically nothing else. And my self-awareness in terms of going, right, okay, that's a season of your life. That's necessary for getting through this year. It really was. So this community survived 2020. It was absolutely vital that I did that. And yet now I'm like, right, okay, you know, what else do you or should you be doing? Do you want to do? Must you be doing? So kind of that growth in self-awareness of going, right, okay, this cannot be everything for me. I have to. For me, it's the more of the creative pursuits. It's not, and it's like what we said before. It's not just acting anymore. It's writing and actually producing my own stuff. Like, and stop talking about it and just freaking do it. That for me has been where I've like drawn a line in the sand really, and just gone, look, you're going to do this because you spoke about it for ages. And I've been guilty of giving other people advice around it as well. I'm going like with Dan Jillings, when we could, just before lockdown, I'd go and sit in a coffee shop, reading other people's scripts, giving them advice on the scripts, giving them great ideas, and then coming back and not writing my own shit. It's like, isn't it easy sometimes to preach, but not actually give yourself and take on that advice and stuff yourself? It's so easy to do that sometimes. So for me, I think growth in awareness of actually what I need to be doing moving forward to make me happy. Not necessarily grow a business, bring in more, resources, but actually just have some fulfillment in my life that isn't just all work. I've grown in believing in myself to be better and happier. Says Darren, that's awesome, Mum. My acting skills and knowledge, says Sharon. I'm not really grown. I've regressed to not taking life too seriously. Well, no, but that's maybe a growth in awareness of what's important, Chris. Just having fun with what I'm doing. Have grown in acting, though. Oh, I'll tell you what's grown this year. My love of Pokemon cards. Which sounds absolutely ridiculous as a 37-year-old man. I found a binder of Pokemon cards from when I was probably 14 under my bed that I'd kept pretty much pristine for 20 years. Realised they were worth thousands of pounds. So started going pretty deep on Pokemon cards and buying and selling vintage cards. That was pretty cool. Confidence for Bex. I've developed my singing. Yeah, Brendan, man, you've been doing like a song a week forever, haven't you? Developed my singing and creating a comedy nurse. Yes, you have. Very, very good. My acting career's grown, says Sandra. I know what to do now. In my personal life, way more belief in myself and how much it gives me to just support other people every day. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I love about this community, though. Everybody's so supportive of each other. What I've noticed this year about our community as well is I very rarely have to get involved in conversations in the Facebook group. Because as soon as somebody, this is what's so amazing, and I'm so grateful for it, because I then have to, I get time to then build the features that really matter to you guys. Is when someone asks a question in the Facebook group, I used to back in the day, I'd be the only one going in and answering every single question, and I'd get through a day and go, I've done nothing today. I've not built any features and apps on this. I've not improved the website. I've not planned anything new because all I've done is answer questions in the Facebook group. I barely ever have to do that now. Like as soon as someone asks a question, 20 people are all over it, which is just amazing. So I think we've grown as a community this year, without a doubt. So please keep doing that because that's a massive, massive favor to me, really. It just means I get to crack on with bringing you guys more features as opposed to just answering questions all day. Alex says I've grown in mindset, knowing that I need to constantly take action to get results. Big one, dude. I'm more certain. I've had loads of breakthroughs, says Lowry. Let go of some limiting beliefs, found my worth. It's a big one. It's massive. Can't stop singing the Ratatouille songs, says Sarah. Mindset for Bex. Lost 4 stone this year. Joanna, well done. So yeah, my diet education, wow, amazing. I'm probably on my way to putting 4 stone on, Joanna, because I just keep eating cake. But yeah, wow, congrats, that's massive. Gained a lot of gained weight, which is good for Sandra. Sandra needed to gain weight. There you go, cool. Writing scripts for Tom. Nick's grown in connections, connected with so many more people online this year. Grown in understanding, people are saying. Just loads. Loads and loads and loads of people grown into a brave wee person, says Nicola. Put myself out there more, grown in knowledge. My hips have grown a bit too much, Wendy. I know the feeling. Don't worry about it though. It's all right. That's what 2021 is going to be all about. So that is that's question number 3. I'm just refreshing my page here for a second because my feed of comments quit itself on Facebook. Just diving back in. Give me a second. I'm back in the room. Right. Okay. Question number 4. What time is it? We've got 7 minutes to nail this off, but I think we can. Question number 4. Where can you improve? Interesting one. Because it's about being honest and being vulnerable with yourself. I find it sometimes like quite hard to admit where I need to improve, if I'm honest with you sometimes, because it's like, I'm like, No, I'm doing everything okay. Do you know what's been so good this year? I employed Ollie Reynolds. You all know Ollie as an actor, but he's also a bit of a marketing guru. I employed Ollie as the marketing man for AtsOnThis.tv this year, and my God, that he has pushed me in terms of that growth question. He's made me so uncomfortable sometimes in terms of like thinking bigger, putting more products out there, doing more, marketing in different ways. So I feel I've improved massively there, and where he's kind of pushing me now, and this is where I know I need to improve most, is delegation, is letting other people and where possible paying other people to do things to free me up of time. Sometimes if anybody else here runs their own business, or it can even be something as simple as, I get so control freakish on even like I every Sunday love cleaning my apartment. I know this is going to sound ridiculous, right? But I'm of the I don't know about you, if I cannot work and be efficient if I'm in a messy environment, I cannot do it. Literally, the one thing that I have to do that makes everything else easier or unnecessary in my life when, every week is to clean my apartment. It makes everything else easier. I'm more inspired to be in the space. Like my desk is clean, everything's clean. It's just a nice environment. I feel happy. Now, I probably spend like 5 hours, no joke, probably 5 hours on a Sunday cleaning this apartment. And it is today, like it's immaculate. I only did it yesterday. And yet I know that I could delegate that task probably to a cleaner. They could probably do it better than me in 2 hours, and I'd probably pay them about 20 quid, something like that, which would then free me up those 5 hours to either invest in the business to earn more money than I'm paying for that cleaner, or just go and have a nice time. And there's so many things like that in my life that I could delegate, but for whatever reason, I am afraid to let go of. Because it's like, no, what if they don't do it right? Or like there's things within this business that I know I could teach someone else to do for me, so that I could free up that time. But first, I would have to spend more time teaching them how to do it. And sometimes I talk myself out of those things by going, no, you know what? It's just quicker if I do it. And I realize, it's so backwards. I do realize that if I just spent that extra time teaching that person to do that thing, yes, that first time would take me longer, but after that, it doesn't take me any time at all because they just do it from now on. So I know I need to improve massively when it comes to letting go of this perceived control that, as I keep saying, is all an illusion. I know it is. I know how mental it is to be like this. And I need to start delegating. I need to start letting other people do things within my life, within my business that I do not need to do, so that I can actually have a little bit more time, like Chris said before, to take life a little less seriously and just go and probably buy more Pokemon cards. Love cleaning. I'm obsessed. Who's obsessed? Lucas is obsessed. Mate, I am though. Honestly, I mean, I do quite like it because I'll put a podcast on and I'll potter around and I'll educate myself while I'm doing it. But I just know I could be out probably walking, still listening to that podcast and just, getting a bit of fresh air and just, chilling out a little bit more rather than sticking my hands down the bog. I've got some great marigolds though. And I literally do put my hand down the toilet. I'm that much of a clean freak. Does anyone else do that? I don't know if that's a thing, but I literally do. But yeah, I could be better with delegation. So what could you improve on? And then we've got a couple of minutes to do question number 5. Let me know what you could improve on. Alex says, in the book, How to Get Your Shit Together, it says you should pay someone to do the things like that so you save the time to do more important stuff. Definitely, Alex. Mate, I'm so aware. But I need to get better at it. I need to improve. What are you saying, Sandra? Someone saying Sandra will just hire Sandra. She'll do a good job, says Sharon. I can improve by trying not to be such of a worrier, says Matt. Yeah, man. Definitely. Worry often comes, Matt, from thinking too far into the future, mate. That's what I notice about worry. And you often hypothesize about things that you think might happen that really never end up happening. So you end up just completely having wasted that time about the thing that never came true. So don't try and live more in the moment if you struggle with worry, Matt. Steve needs to be more proactive, contact more casting directors, contribute more to Acts on This. Steve, get more involved, mate, if you want to. We're all here for you. Get out of my head and stop the negative self-talk. anyone who's struggling with mindset, I'm going to be launching as well. Bulletproof Actors coming back. I launched a mindset program, specifically for actors in 2014-15. It was incredibly successful, actually. It was like one of the best things I've ever done with my life, I think. And version 2 will be out early 2021, but I'm going to take people through it live. It's going to be taught in a very different way. So if you did Bulletproof Actor 1, Bulletproof Actor 2.0 will be taught over a 5-week period live. It'll be recorded, so if you can't make the live sessions, then you can catch up. But yeah, it will be 5 modules over 5 weeks taught live, either on a weekend, because there'll probably be long sessions, or maybe on an evening, but we'll be starting earlier. We'd probably be starting at like, I don't know, 6 p.m. or something like that, maybe going to like 10. There'll be pretty long weeks, but if you really want to sort your shit out and you're going to want to get on top of your mindset, it's phenomenal. It's all science backed as well. It's not airy fairy, just, rah, think positive and it'll all be fine. It's pretty soul bearing though. It will make you really dig deep on the things that are holding you back and make you ask questions that are very uncomfortable. But keep an eye out for that. If you go to bulletproofactor.com, you can get on the waiting list. But I'm very excited to do that in the new year. I think that's what 2021 needs. We all need to really dial in our mental game, really. Saying no to people that don't treat you with respect, says Darren. So you got to improve there, mate. Yeah, I used to be the yes man, Darren, mate. Like, oh god, so bad. If I take myself back 10 years ago, I'd say yes to everybody else but myself. I'd be working on something myself, mate, and I'd get a phone call from somebody and I would instantly put my work aside and I'd do whatever they'd ask me. It never gets you anywhere. You have to be selfish in order to be selfless. You've got to say yes to yourself, dude. Definitely. Lee needs his room cleaned. Lee, do it on a Sunday, mate, with some podcasts. You'll be fine. That's what I do, but I need to just get a cleaner, basically. I could save myself 5 hours. Right, last question. So that's where you can improve. I want you to have a little think about that. And then the last question tonight, what do you want to do with the days left this year? Because there's not that many, but there's still enough to have an impact. There's still enough to make an impact in any area of your life, whether that is right. Okay, I am going to, get, if Wendy, if you think your hips have grown like mine have, we have got time, Wendy, whether the gyms are open or not, to do something about that. I'm aware I sacrificed my long run this Sunday to do some more work. I know I can't do that too many weekends on the trot because that is not good for me. Whether you want to get an agent this year, there is still time. If you want to book an audition this year, there is still time. There is still stuff being cast. If you want to finish that script, you still have time. If you want to film a bit of that script, you still got time. A show reel, you still got time. You have still got time to do something great with your career or your life, just your personal life. So what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And we want to get specific. So Sharon's still after a first TV credit. So Sharon, on the daily, what are you doing? What can you do tomorrow to get one step closer to that happening? There's probably nothing you can do that's going to guarantee it's going to happen, but what are the things you can do that are going to get you one step closer every single day to that? Same with Dougal. Wants to bag an acting job and get in touch with casting directors. Right, who, Dougal? Who do you want to get in touch with? Why? For what show? And what are you going to show them in order to convince them to give you a shot if there is something available right now and either give you a self-tape or give you an audition? Because you can work backwards like that and it's really empowering and it's much like easier on the mind to go, right, what do I need to do? If you know who you want to get in touch with, why, and for what show, it makes everything so much easier. So listener just wants to focus on what I have and appreciate it. Yeah, sometimes, you know what, for the rest of the year, you might just want to go, I've hammered it this year, I've gone hard on everything, so I actually want to, enjoy myself. Maybe you just want some fulfillment. That doesn't mean that you just, eat and drink and, all of the watch Christmas films. You can still focus on what you've got and appreciate stuff in a really, healthy way. But yeah, sometimes maybe you just need some time out for yourself. I'm very grateful to learn from such a variety of people in this community. I never have thought I'd have learned this much so soon, says Nicola. Because you got involved though, Nicola. You know what you've done in there's so many people on this chat as well. When you joined the community this year, is you've just got involved with shit. And you've been on nearly every call. Lots of people here have been on nearly every mastermind session every week. You've acted on that advice, and that's why you guys are killing it. There are people who join the community, and I look at, because I can spy on you, right? I'll let you in on a secret. I can see exactly who's logged in, how many times you've logged in, what features you've watched, how many times you've watched it, even down to the minutiae of knowing if people have rewound a bit of a video, and like I get to see like which parts of the video people have rewound and watched again. So it gives you insights onto what's popular, so I can create more content that's popular. Some people sign up and they cancel their membership after 4 weeks, and I look at their username and their login, and they've logged in once when they signed up. They didn't attend anything, they didn't get involved with anything, they didn't watch anything, and I'm like, that's why you're probably going to be in the same position this time next year as you are in now, because you didn't act on anything. You signed up, you realise, because that's the thing, right? To get further in your acting career via Acts on This, I'm asking you to put a pair of headphones in for 90 minutes once a week. And if you do that, you will find it impossible not to make progress in your career. And yet people don't even want to do that. Honestly, some people are like so caught up in whatever else they're caught up in. They just like, oh, I don't think I've got time for this. So you can't find 90 minutes at some point to put some headphones in. I'm not even asking you to sit down in front of your computer. You don't have to join anything live. You don't have to be there live. Just listen to the recording. Don't even watch it. Listen, and then go away and take some action. One little bit of action on that thing. And if you do that 4 times over a month, that's once a week, you will make progress. So all you guys who are crushing it, that's what you're doing. So you deserve it, you know. You've got involved with everything, and that's why it's making a difference in your life and your career. Matt wants to get some footage for a show reel sorted. Matt, how are you going to do that? Start thinking about that. There is still time. Who's going to shoot it? What's it going to be? What is the scene? Have you written it? Are you going to get someone to write it? Do you know who's going to shoot it? Are you going to pull friends in to shoot it, or are you going to pay someone to shoot it? Get clear on that. Tom says to be the best Tom I can be. Get another show reel clip. Tom, you're already the best Tom in the community, mate. So you're the best Tom Houston I've ever met. so you've achieved that. Again, think about how you're going to get that show reel clip. Michelle, I can feel it in my water. What's that, Michelle? What's coming? What can you feel in your water? Another job or what? I've got a few acting jobs coming up. I want to get a new voice reel done. Well, Nick, how can you do that before the end of the year? Everything people are putting here, so achievable. No one's saying, they want to, create a new COVID vaccine. That might take a little bit longer than the rest of this year. If you're starting from scratch right now, you're all asking for things that are really, really achievable. Poppy says, sort my shit out. So finally get a show reel. I know I've been saying this for months. Yeah, well, Poppy, that's it. A bit like me, drawing a line in the sand under this. I'm going to stop talking about writing stuff and I'm going to fucking write it, because I'm sick of saying I'm going to do something and then I'm not making time for it because I'm too busy doing other stuff. Well, I'm going to make time for it because it's really important to me. It'd be the one thing that I would regret. I would regret not writing a hit TV show far more than not bringing another 100 members into the Acts on This.tv community. So I need to stop focusing so much on that and start not for long though, because and if you can spread the word and bring more members in, that'd do me a big favor. But I want to, I would regret, not writing far more than not having more members in this community. So that's what I have to make time for. It's non-negotiable. Definitely. Write it down and a dream then becomes a plan, says Janet. Very inspiring. Work on my Tinder game. My Tinder game is poor, Chris. It's pretty poor, Do you know what I do? Anyone do this on social? Why are we talking about this? Is it supposed to be about acting? Do you know what I do on online dating? I'll match with someone and then I'll talk myself out of why I don't like her before I even message. And I think that's a defensive thing, isn't it? Because I'm like, well, I've swiped right on her, so I must have thought she was pretty attractive. And then we'll match, and then I'll go and look at her profile again, and I'll like subconsciously find something that, oh no, I don't like that, the look of the mates in that picture, or oh no, I don't like that. What's that about? So my Tinder game is very, very poor as well. It's bad. I'll need to. That's something I can improve on. Yeah, I'm going to set a goal on that, definitely, without a doubt. I'm definitely going to do that. What's this Tinder? What Tinder just doesn't work for me, says Nicola. I'm too impatient with swiping. Nicola's just like that. Right, everything like that, all over it. But yeah, that's what I do. I'm terrible at it. So if anyone's got any tips, let me know. Your own limiting beliefs. I know, Sharon, it is. I think there's part of me that goes, God, I don't have time for a relationship. I can't even find time for myself. That's what I mean about actually like self-awareness, about going, right, it was necessary to go all in on this community this year and build this. But actually, you know what? I need to kind of delegate some stuff, take some more time out and actually build a life for myself outside as well. Before I go insane. So have a think, about what you want to do with your days left this year. Because there are still, how many is there? 38 days? Have I got that right? Is there 30 days in November? Let me know, yes or no. 31 in December, innit? So, 38 days left. What is Tinder, says Steve? Tinder? I mean, Steve. I nearly said, Tinder, get on Steve. But maybe that is what I need. @onthis.tv, for those people who are here new, you've obviously been talking a lot about this tonight. I put a cheeky little slide up there. Do come and get involved if you want to hit those goals that you have just thought about in question 5 there. If you've got things that you want to get done and you don't know where to start, we've got a community of the most knowledgeable, empowered, motivated, inspiring actors that you've seen if you're here live tonight, or you've heard if you're on the audio experience. And we're all here to help you. Don't, if you've not got where you want to get in 2020, don't blame 2020 for it. Take responsibility, take accountability, and go, right, you know what? 2021 is not going to be like that. Step up, do something about it, invest in yourself, come and get a membership, get involved in this community, join us every week on these mastermind calls. And I promise you, like I said, you will find it impossible not to make progress if you act on the information you are being given directly from the horse's mouth, directly from the biggest casting directors. If you want to know how to get in front of the casting directors, they will tell you. If you want to know how to sign with the agents we get on, they will tell you. But yes, it does require you to sit there for 90 minutes a week. That is it. If you've watched The Crown this week, and you don't watch The Crown, come and learn how to be in The Crown, right? Next webinar we've got this Tuesday. It's tomorrow, isn't it? Shit, tomorrow. So tomorrow we have casting associate to Fiona Weir, Alyssa Rogers, who's doing our mastermind session for us tomorrow evening. Starts at 7:30 p.m. for all members. You're going to get your Zoom link sent out tomorrow. Alyssa is responsible for working on some massive stuff, really big comedies as well. Brassic, you'll see here, I've got in the picture. We've also got a brand new Stephen Merchant comedy coming out later this year. It's BBC, called The Offenders, and in the middle there we've got Ted Lasso, Apple comedy Ted Lasso, which is awesome. Ollie is obsessed with Ted Lasso, so he's very excited about tomorrow night. But yeah, Alyssa's worked on all of those programs. Come and get involved, which is so nice. She's absolutely lovely. I'm going to play a little clip of hers in a second where we invite you to come and get involved. But she just wants to help you guys have more success, be more successful, whether that's in 2020, 2021, or 2031, 41, 51, 61, 3,000, however long you're going to be in this industry for. There's no escape. So do come and get involved. That's 7:30 p.m. tomorrow evening at onthis.tv. If you want to get a membership, and you'll come and join us, and would love to actually speak to you on camera tomorrow night. You'll get the opportunity to do that. Who's going to be there? Let's have a look. Alicia keeps thinking I'm saying Alyssa Rogers, Alicia Dillon. Alyssa Rogers tomorrow evening. I'm going to be late tomorrow doing a wee Q&A with Emma Crompton. Nicola, she's starting that at 6 o'clock. Just say, listen, I'm out at 7:30. She'll understand. Emma's been on, hasn't she, obviously. Was that the free one that you're getting? Because Emma gave you was it Nicola? Did you win the free the free course thing with Emma on our webinar? I think you did, didn't you? But yeah, let us know if you are going to be there. Need to think of a good question tomorrow. Chris, you've not been on in ages, have you? Who's not been on? Who's not asked a question in ages though? Because let me know in the chat tomorrow as well. But Chris, yeah, if you've got a good question. Also as well, here's just a little carrot. Even if you have been on recently, if you ask a freaking good question, and I don't always get to see every question because there will literally, there's normally 150 people on there across the night, and if you all ask 2 questions, I can't see 300 questions. So don't get impatient with me and hate me if I don't bring you on, if I haven't seen your question necessarily. But if you do ask a freaking good question, even if you've been on, and I'm like, this is really useful for everyone on this call, I'm going to bring you on. The better quality your question, the more benefit the whole community is going to get from it. So just think of some good questions. Yeah, definitely. Not like, I don't know, hi Alyssa, what's your favourite chocolate bar? That was an interview question. I used to throw in when I used to work at the computer game shop, because I hated my job so much, but I'd been there so long, they used to get me to interview new recruits. And I'd always check on day one and go, right, this has been a pretty serious interview now. So just wondering what your favourite chocolate bar was. I think you can tell an awful lot about somebody by asking them what their favourite chocolate bar was. So yeah, don't ask that though. We're not going to bring you on if you ask that. It's an orange swirl. Right, I'm delirious. It's 10:15. We've run 15 minutes over. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Hopefully there's still some people here. Thanks for being here. Do appreciate it. Yeah, there's still like 47 people watching live on Facebook. Thanks so much for spending this time. If you've been here for the first time, I'm not normally this mental, and we are normally better behaved than this. But it's Christmas, isn't it? And Brendan's up for a galaxy. Definitely, I love it. I love the way everybody's on about their favourite chocolate bars now. If you're listening on the replay, please tweet at Act on This TV. Don't, just to really freak people out. Don't write anything sensible. Just write the name of a chocolate bar in your tweet. People will be like, why are people just tweeting him Twix, Kit Kat, Yorkie? Oh, as I said, Yorkie. Lowry pops up, says love a Yorkie. Right, I'm going to play you Alyssa's invite video. Please come and get involved with this tomorrow night. It's going to be freaking wicked. Alyssa's just one of the most positive, motivated, helpful casting people in the industry. If you've not been on a broadcast before, this could be a fantastic one to get involved with. Start your membership with this one. There'll be no looking back. But yeah, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night. Thanks so much for being here, guys. If you watch on the replay, let me know your answers to those 5 questions as well. And hopefully I will see you tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. at onthis.tv. Bye for now. Actors, there are still 6 weeks of 2020 left, and we are not slowing down. I want to invite you guys to yet another incredible Act on This.tv live mastermind session, this time taking place on Tuesday, the 24th of November at 7:30 p.m. with this amazing woman here, casting associate for some top shows like Apple's Ted Lasso, Sky One's Brassic, and upcoming Stephen Merchant comedy, The Offenders. It's Alyssa Rogers. Alyssa, welcome to Act on This. Thank you so much for doing this. What are you going to be covering on Tuesday?
We're going to be covering lots of stuff. I really want to just answer your guys' questions, anything you want to know, and I'll tell you a bit about myself, how I got to where I am, but mainly I'm interested in how I can help you.
Amazing. We're going to be helping everybody. Okay, if you are an actor and you need any kind of help whatsoever to end 2020 strong, anything to do with auditioning, casting, agents, anything basically that's going to help you get further in your career faster, come and get involved with this. You're going to be able to jump on camera, literally have a chat with me and Alyssa, put all your questions to Alyssa on the night. Just get some advice. You're not going to get anywhere else. Get yourself over to actonthis.tv/live right now if you do want to get involved. And Alyssa, I ask everybody this question on these trailers. No pressure at all here, right? But why don't actors want to miss this one?
Because it's going to be the best. I'm going to refer to Ted Lasso. Believe that this will be the best one. You don't want to miss this out. This is the best. The best comes at last. That's how you say it in German. Das Beste kommt zum Schluss. The best comes to the last. So there we go.
There you go. You've got to believe this is going to be the best. Let's make 2020 the best. There is still time. actonthis.tv/live.